Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Pup coming back with the week 3 of the Pokemon Sports League. We need to go at least 2-1 to have a chance at making the playoffs. We have a pretty bad differential right now, so I'd like to go 3-0 in these last 3 weeks if possible, because we're trying to get that best seed possible, trying to make a really far run in the playoffs since we weren't able to close it out either of the last 2 seasons. This is our last one. But we're taking on Zone today. And the Denver Bronzongs. It's going to be a really good game. They have a great team and very well rounded. I'm just hoping that we don't get caught off guard by something like, I don't know, a Tyrantrum that lives on 1%, something like that I'm not going to get over until after this season. But it is what it is. If you guys do enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's go right to the team builder. All right, we are here for the team builder against Zone. They have a couple of scary things, but as you can see, they don't really have many high tiers on their team. They just have a lot of, mid-high. They got Lucario, Krookodile, Alakazam, Tinkaton. They have a lot of good stuff, but not great stuff. So I'm hoping that it'll just be able to outpower them and hopefully just have a really good game here. We're going to start off with Minior. I mean, this thing goes crazy. If I am able to set up a Shell Smash, they don't have too much priority outside of that Lucario. I think that's actually all they have. Now they have a Celerock as well, but we can always just set up the Shell Smash, get a couple kills with this thing. That's really what it's meant to do. Have a ton of HP on this thing, so it's able to live a lot of hits, and they'll still be able to outrun just about everything, even with Scarfs after that boost. We also have a Life Orb Iron Boulder here, a Mighty Cleave, Earthquake, Close Combat, and Sword Stance. If we're able to get an SD up, then we're actually just going to sweep through their entire team, barring like Scarf Crook probably comes to this game. But it does really, really well. It does a lot of damage to stuff. If we're able to get rid of that Scarfer early on in the game, then we can just cook with this thing. Also got the Basculin here. I wanted to have a little bit of priority versus their team because that Alakazam can get out of hand. A Scarf Crook can go crazy. So we're Terra Water with a Mystic Water. Aqua Jet, Wave Crash, Flip Turn, and Ice Fang, which is there for the Appleton if they don't want a Terra. But we have a good amount of speed on this thing. I wanted to be able to outrun that Crook if they're not Scarf. But if they are, just an Aqua Jet will be able to do a ton of damage. We have a especially defensive Aegislash on this thing. We're able to switch into like the Braviary. We're able to switch into a lot of special Lucarios. They'll probably run Dark Pulse, but we can also switch into physical versions with the huge defense stats that we have. And then I can switch into Dragalge, and the Alakazam are the more important things. Because Alakazam kind of destroys me, and if we're able to switch in on a Psychic and get a nice Shadow Sneak off on them, that's really all we need. But we have Toxic, Ironhead, King Shield on this set as well, just in case we need it for the rest of their team. We've got a Rocky Helmet, Galarian Slowbro. This thing can always, do a little bit of chip damage back to the Crook. It can take physical hits from that Lucario. Earthquake does hurt though. But this thing also is good against the Tinkaton. I get Thunder Waves off on their whole team. Future Sight they don't really want to take with much. And then it's just a really solid Mon here, I think. There were other Pokemon that I thought could fill a slot here, but just having something that, does pretty well against everything on their team is really nice. And last up, we're going to have our Terapagos. This is probably going to be our lead, especially if we see Vikavolt. We can get Stealth Rocks up, we can spin away the webs, which we really don't appreciate on our side. It doesn't really hinder us for like Minior, but if we want Iron Boulder to do a lot, if we want Basculin to do a lot, then we're going to want to get rid of those. But we just do a lot of damage. We're 252 special attack, so those Terra Star Storms and Flamethrowers are going to hurt. This is really just meant to take on the Tinkaton or the Vikavolt lead. But if we see Crook lead, then I'm totally fine just getting a Terra Star Storm off on that thing because it's more than likely not Scarfed. That's going to be it for the team builder. Hopefully we can get to a 2-1 record. I would hate to see at 1-2 because we have 2 really tough opponents coming after this. So let's see what happens. All right, we're here. I could not end up recording this live, so we're going to be looking at the replay. Happened a couple of days ago, so I'm a little bit, I don't remember exactly what's going on the whole entire time. But, I mean, just look at their team. We see the 2 possible leads, well, even 3 possible leads with Crook, Tinkaton, and Vikavolt. I'm really worried about the sticky webs. I don't think stealth rocks are that great against my team, so I don't care that much if it's the Crook or even the Tinkaton that leads. But I think just Terapagos goes insane here. I'm gonna put this on slow and we can go through it really quick. So we're gonna start here. They're gonna lead with their Vikavolt, kind of what I expected. I'm expecting this thing to be potentially Focus Sash. But we decide, since they're gonna do this, I'm just gonna get a Terra Water Flip turn off. Might as well get my Terra off at the very beginning. And then go out to Terapagos, because it also would have beat the Crook. But they're gonna set up their webs, which is totally fine by me. We're gonna get our rocks up in their face because they look pretty decent. Breaking Sash on Alakazam potentially and doing a lot of damage. But they're gonna Thunder Wave us, which is really annoying. I hate to see it. Luckily, we're able to break through, get a Rapid Spin off. But you know, they're probably just gonna be clicking sticky webs the entire time. So we're just gonna spam Rapid Spin. I don't want to, try clicking something else and them switch out. I want to make sure that the sticky webs are gone. So we're sacrificing. We're getting paralyzed and breaking our Terra Shell, but there are no webs up, which is nice, and we get our rocks. Here they're gonna go Lucario. That was screaming close combat to me. A physical close combat set would always take me out, but I would not die to an Aura Sphere. So I was gonna go straight out to Aegislash here, just be immune to it, be able to potentially fire off a Toxic into the rest of their team, which looks pretty good, especially if they would want to bring in something like the Crook, which I expect. So we're gonna see the close combat. We're immune. Of course, they can go for like an Earthquake now, but I'm just gonna make a really big prediction. I could potentially have that Fighting type move. The Sacred Sword to be able to do a lot of damage, and this Lucario is really needed on their team so that they don't just get swept by Minior. So I'm gonna send off Toxic. They do end up switching out to Tinkaton, which is a little bit annoying. But it's nothing too deep. But versus this, we can just go out into Terapagos. It's already done a lot, and a Thunder Wave might come out, which it does. They're gonna knock us off. But we made a good play there. We can get a very tough Flamethrower off on this thing. We should be able to 2-hit KO even after the leftovers if we don't get fully paralyzed here. They're going to set up their Stealth Rocks, which is fine by me, and we're just going to take out the Tinkaton. So big game for Terapagos here, just dominating the early game even though it got paralyzed. But we're going to see Lucario come out. I figured it was going to close combat, but I didn't want to risk like an Earthquake. I thought Terapagos, it kind of did everything it needed to do. It would have been nice if it was able to, predict an Earthquake and then kill this thing with Flamethrower, but I didn't think that made much sense. So we let it go down. Totally fine there. And then we're going to go out to Aegislash because they're at -1 defense right now. If they want to stay in, then an Iron Head plus Shadow Sneak isn't going to kill them. And they can't kill me with the Earthquake. If they want to switch out, Iron Head is doing a ton of damage to anything. So we're just going to go out to this thing. They do end up playing it aggressive, does a ton of damage, 69% with that Life Orb Earthquake. But we're going to get our Iron Head off here. It does 49. This thing has a limited switch-ins now. And then we're just going to click Shadow Sneak and take out this Lucario, which means our Minior really just runs free in this game as soon as we get an opportunity to set it up. So honestly, I could literally just sack. But versus Crook, I'm not sure if the best thing to do is sack, because this thing could be Moxie Scarf, and that kind of goes crazy into me. So we're just going to King Shield this up. Very normal. Try to get a drop on them, as they show to be Crunch, not Knockoff, which actually could be important, because it does less damage when we have an item. But they're going to get the attack drop there. And now I think it's totally fine to switch into Basculin. Their Crunch isn't going to do too much. Does 43, which is more than I expected. But we can just throw off a Wave Crash and honestly just get a kill. So we're just going to drop the Braviary. It's obviously going to take us down pretty low, but that's a lot of damage. They're going to send out this Alakazam. We're going to go Slowbro here because we don't really have the best switch in with Aegislash being so low right now. We're just going to go out to Slowbro. Potentially, be able to take a hit and deal one back, but they just predict it with Shadow Ball, which was a no-brainer play anyways, but still a good one. We're going to go Aegis here. We can just click Shadow Sneak versus them. I think this was probably a misplay, as I can go out into the Iron Boulder and really do a ton of damage, make sure I don't easily get revenge killed by that Krookodile to get a free Moxie up. Because at this point, I'm not 100% sure that they're scarfed. They definitely might be, but I really just don't want to let them get a free kill. I think it might be better to go Boulder, let it die to Alakazam, and then go Basculin and click, I mean, I could go Basculin and click Aqua Jet, or I can even go to Minior and just set up in this Alakazam's face. But we're going to go Aegis Slash. We're going to get the Shadow Sneak off. Lives on 2%, which, not what I was expecting, but they take me out. That's fine. And at this point, I probably should go Minior again, but I decided to go Basculin because it's going to live on 1%. Get another kill because, you know, we love Basculin. But then they're going to go Crook. The issue I see here is I'm not 100% sure you're scarfed. In hindsight, it kind of screams scarf the way they're playing it, the way they have Crunch instead of Knockoff, and how they're saving it to be last here. So my play should be Aqua Jet 100%. But if by some craziness they are not, and they're, you know, I don't know, they could be a ton of items like an Expert Belt with like Stone Edge to hit Minior and Earthquake to hit Iron Boulder, and they can click Scale Shot right here versus my Basculin and literally just win the game. So on the off chance that they are not Choice Scarfed, I'm going to click Wave Crash. As they are Scarfed, they get the Crunch, and they're going to knock me out. But at this point, we can go Minior. Even after the rocks, we're 100% living a Crunch here. Brings us down to 19%. We're going to get the Shell Smash off, and we're going to win with Minior. Scary thing, though, if they're Knockoff in this scenario, it's about a 50-50 chance for them to just knock out my Minior and sweep me there. So it obviously bit them to not have that. I mean, to have the Crunch instead of the Knockoff. Very good for me, but I understand why they would do it. You know, if you're trying to face something like Terapagos, it's pretty bulky. You want that Crunch that can potentially get defense drop and is going to do more damage over time than a Knockoff would be. So I think it makes a ton of sense why they would bring that. Really a game that came down to the wire. If I was able to get the Stealth Rocks up, then, or not have the Stealth Rocks be up on my side, we would have been fine no matter what. We weren't even able to get Iron Boulder out, which I thought was going to do the most here, but it didn't. Luckily, you know, Minior came in clutch like it always does for us. Aegis Slash, Basculin, and Terapagos also did a ton of work. You know, everyone just pulling their weight. So now we're sitting at, I think we're at 2-1, -1 differential, which it is what it is. We should honestly be 3-0 at this point, with like a 10 differential, but it is what it is. We're playing Hunky Donkey next week, who is a top 2 battler in here, and I would probably say they're top 2, not 2. I'd say they're probably the #1 player in here. So very tough. We lost them in the playoffs last season. They have a scary, scary team. But hopefully we're going to be able to take that out. I'm probably going to put a little bit more effort into that just to try to get a big dub versus them. That's going to be about it for me. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next week's battle. Peace out.